Did you know that the average person has 9 close friends, excluding family members? Given this, take a second to now count the number of close friends you have. How do you stack up against the average person? If you realize that you're someone who only has a few friends, you might be surprised to hear that this may be because you're smarter than the average person. In fact, recent studies have indicated that those with higher IQs actually have fewer friends than most people. But why is this? Today on Charisma, we're going to look at the 7 reasons intelligent people have few or no friends. Number 1, you like to be alone with your thoughts. A study in the Journal of Health Psychology found that intelligent people can easily escape the day-to-day boredom that life can bring by spending time alone with their thoughts. If you're a smart person, you might spend your free time musing about something you read or learned about in school or work. Because your mind is occupied by your thoughts during downtime, as a result, you don't feel bored even if you aren't doing much else besides thinking. On the other hand, the same study found that less intelligent people feel a need to fill their free time with activities to stimulate their mind instead of being able to lean on their thoughts alone. These activities might range from sports to going out to a concert to simply spending time with friends. Unlike more intelligent people who can use their thoughts in times of boredom, the average person needs external instead of internal stimuli to feel engaged. While one way certainly isn't better than the other, the point is that if you're smart, you simply don't feel the need to go out and engage with the outside world as much as others do. The flip side of that is that if you're content being alone in a quiet environment, as a result, you're not spending time building up friendships with others. Number 2, you don't care about impressing others. If you're intelligent, you're probably less concerned with fitting in or conforming to the status quo than others are. This is because you know that what makes you different, your intelligence, is your superpower and something that can help you get ahead in the world. Think of famous geniuses like Albert Einstein, for instance. Einstein was ridiculed for many of his theories, as they were considered absurd at the time. But he didn't care about fitting in and persisted regardless, until eventually those around him recognized his brilliance for what it was. Like Einstein, if you're a smart person, you likely are comfortable voicing your opinions, even if they conflict with the thoughts of those around you. But while being comfortable in your own skin and not being afraid to speak your mind is a great quality, it has the downside of making you less able to connect with others. This is because your devotion to unconventional ideas or ways of thinking can be a turnoff to other people, making them less likely to want to connect with you through friendships. Number 3, you can see people's true colors. If you've ever noticed that you tend to be more observant than other people, it might be because of your intelligence. In fact, there's thought to be a correlation between someone's IQ and how perceptive they are. As an intelligent person, you have the gift of being able to pick up on things that the average person might not notice. You may, for instance, identify that a piece of information someone gave you contradicts something they said earlier, or that a person's body language doesn't match their words. Your perception means that you see people's true colors more easily than others might. Or, said another way, that you see people for who they are, not just the image they present to the world. But this also means that you're not going to become friends with just anyone, even if they appear likable on the surface. Instead, you pay close attention to what's beneath. You may not make an assessment of someone until after you've spent time together, and then, and only then, decide whether you're compatible as friends. And because you're more likely to pick up on subtleties in behavior that indicate their real motives, you're able to be more discerning in who you choose to have as a friend. Number 4, you're ambitious. Ambition and intelligence often go hand in hand. If you're smart, you likely have clear goals and a strong desire to achieve them. However, these ambitions are often related to things like career, finances, or self-improvement, and not developing friendships. It can be easy for you to see friendships as distracting you from your goals, so as a result, it's tempting to let these friendships fall to the wayside. If you're focused on getting a promotion at work, for instance, you'll likely be putting in extra hours and working late instead of hanging out with friends after work. And when friends do contact you to hang out, you might feel like they're sidetracking you from your greater ambitions. While it's certainly a good thing to have clear goals and go after them, as an intelligent person, this can cause your friendships to suffer. It can be hard for you to see a world in which your ambitions and friendships coexist, as you instead view them as being directly in conflict with one another. Thus, instead of prioritizing your friendships, you end up investing more energy into your goals. Number 5, you're skeptical. Similar to being highly perceptive, intelligent people are also very skeptical. You don't just trust everyone at face value or believe everything that someone tells you. Instead, you rely on your mind to be able to parse out what's reliable from what's not. This means, though, that you often go into new situations with a high degree of skepticism. This can especially apply to meeting new people. Instead of immediately trusting someone you're introduced to for the first time, you feel like they need to prove themselves to you. This isn't because you want that relationship to fail, or because you feel like you're better than others, or even because you're an untrustworthy person. In fact, it's actually because, as a smart person, you see the different possibilities in the world around you. In this situation, for example, you see various scenarios where you're meeting someone new. You can envision that the person you're meeting could make a great friend, but also the possibility that they might not. Only after gathering information are you able to come to a conclusion as to their true personality. Unfortunately, others will often sense your skepticism, which can sometimes turn them off from wanting to be your friend before you've even had the chance to make up your mind. Number 6, you're intimidating. Growing up, did you know all the answers in class? Did you ace your tests without ever studying? While this probably made things a breeze for you, it likely also made your classmates jealous or even intimidated by you. When you're smarter than those around you, it frequently makes them feel daunted by you. And this makes sense if you think about it. As a smarter person, you're probably going to have an easier time getting the job you want, making more money, and simply finding success on a day-to-day basis. When people observe you getting things in life that they want, it may even cause them to question their own worth. But even if you're not directly in competition with someone else, they will likely still be intimidated by your intelligence. For instance, as an intelligent person, you might be more aware of world events or simply be a better conversationalist than the average person. This might make them feel nervous around you or even afraid to talk to you. The result of this is pretty clear. Because your intelligence is so intimidating, you likely have a harder time making friends than others. Number 7, you think differently. Did you know that smart people have brains that are wired differently? A study published in Scientific Report found that intelligent people have more efficient connections between the brain regions that deal with processing information related to tasks. Additionally, intelligent people's brains are wired to be able to weed out irrelevant information. This means that as a smart person, your brain is simply different from the brain of the average person. Specifically, you are better able to identify important versus unimportant information. While this is beneficial, it also makes it difficult for you to identify with those whose brains are wired differently, because you are able to tell what information matters and what doesn't. For instance, you might find yourself in a situation in which a coworker wants to gossip with you about some drama that happened in a meeting. While this information might seem important to them, you have the ability to understand that it doesn't matter as much as they think it does. By expressing this, however, you run the risk of offending others, so you likely either suck it up and endure the conversation or avoid talking to them in the first place. Either way, it results in you having fewer friends. What about the signs that someone's secretly a psychopath? Watch this video to learn about that.